it's me again. Thank you so much for watching the first video, the easy oatmeal. Today I'm gonna go over how to do some lemon chicken noodle soup, and it's a perfect day for it. One, it's a Monday, so Monday is usually my soup day, and two, it's snowing out, so I didn't realize it was gonna snow today, or at least this much, but I guess anything can happen, right? So I'm gonna make shorter video clips and then kind of splice them all together. That way you're not seeing a lot of the lulls. So I'll get right to it and hopefully you guys enjoy the lemon chicken noodle soup. All right, guys, trying to get more pictures and more angles of the actual food that I'm making, so bear with me. But as far as the next step, or the first step really, in the lemon chicken soup is to chop up your veggies that you're going to use in the soup itself. And then also, I like to season the chicken, and I'm using two boneless chicken breasts here with salt and pepper. I know that I'm about to boil them, so one, I think it might just be force of habit that I season the meat, but I also think that the salt in particular helps to pull out some of the chicken flavor and make it a little bit more flavorful. Since I'm just boiling it, you can grill it, you can use rotisserie chicken, you can use really anything that you want. But for me, this is kind of how, I do it. The veggies themselves are, I used baby carrots, probably about maybe 10 to 12 baby carrots. One, because they were in my fridge, but two, they also require less chopping. So one step removed there, but again, just chopped up carrots, celery, and onion. And that's really the staple veggies, at least that I use for any kind of soup broth that I'm gonna make it. It's just the three standard flavors, I guess, for any of the soup. And I did want to call attention to the bag that I've got over here. What I'm doing with that is any of the remnants from the chopped veggies and, from today, but also throughout the week, I will save in a plastic bag and use that to boil my chicken with. And that way it brings out a little bit more of the veggie flavor. And it just, isn't just plain water that you're boiling your chicken in. So that being said, I'm going to move over to the stovetop and show you what I do next. So the next step here is to add the chicken and the remnant veggies to some boiling water. And what you're doing here is you're making your own broth, and you're also using up some of the leftover cut ends of some veggies that you might not have used otherwise. And it really adds to the flavor of the chicken. Again, once you're done with the chicken, you'd pull that out and then shred it up so you can add it to your soup pot later on. If you are using a rotisserie chicken, obviously you can skip this step, but again, I like to use this and make my own broth because it, makes it unique, but it also gives some extra flavor to your soup. So while the chicken is boiling in the pot next to the soup pot, I start the soup itself with the soup trifecta veggies, the onion, the celery, and the carrots that I chopped up earlier. And I just have a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of the stock pot here. And I have my oven set on medium. And I'm just going to wait until the veggies kind of wilt a little bit, giving them some gentle stirs here and there. But really that fragrance from these veggies is what makes me think of soup. Once the veggies have cooked for a little bit, I have then added 2 cloves of chopped garlic. I like to add this after the veggies have cooked a little bit. One, because I think it allows the 3 veggies that I put in originally, the onions, the carrots, and the celery, to kind of mesh together their flavors, and I love the smell of that. but also garlic can be overpowering. So I didn't want it to take away from the flavors of the soup that I really enjoy. So once the chicken has cooked all the way through, I will remove that from the heat and place that on a plate off to the side. But then I need to strain my broth. So I don't have any fancy gadgets or anything like that, but I just use a metal strainer and a big mixing bowl to collect my broth because I'm going to use that for my soup base next. So I have my chicken off to the side. I have my additional broth in the bowl, but I also keep on hand a box of low sodium chicken broth to add to the soup because sometimes I misgauge, that's where that measuring comes into play, but I mismeasure how much liquid I actually do have. And I have 5 mouths to feed, so I want to make sure that I have enough soup for everybody to go around. So I just added the strained broth that I made into the stock pot that had the carrots, the celery, and the onions in it. And I'm going to let that slowly boil. It's on low right now, so I'm just going to let that kind of come to a rolling boil. Once it does that, I'm going to add the juice of 1 lemon and some of the zest from the lemon peel itself. So I am just about ready to add the shredded chicken, which again is just 2 chicken breasts that I boiled earlier. And I had already put in the lemon juice, so the juice of 1 lemon and some of the zest from it. And I will be adding the chicken now. So once you have the lemon zest and the lemon juice in the stock pot over here with the broth and the veggies, and the chicken, I've added that too. If you want to add a little more flavor to it, you can add a little what's called better than bouillon. This one's the chicken flavor one. I know that they make beef and veggie, and I think that there's a couple of other types of additive flavors. I will caution you though that it does have a relatively high sodium content to it, so if you are on low sodium or you're looking to limit your salt intake, that might not be the best option, but it does pack a lot of flavor. And I use a little tiny spoonful, again, just to give the broth a little more pop. So to finish up the soup recipe, I'm just gonna let the soup sit on low or simmer on low until dinner time, and about 10 minutes before dinner I'm going to add the pasta and the spinach. That helps to make sure that the noodles stay together, that they're not gonna be a big pile of mush until dinner time. And also with the spinach, it allows it to keep that green color to it and not overcook too much. So the noodles that I'm using tonight, I let one of my sons pick them out, and they went with medium shells. So I'm going to use a cup, maybe a cup and a half, depending on what I'm feeling in the mood for later on, for the amount of pasta that I'm going to add. And then I will usually add a handful of spinach at the end, give that a nice good stir, and then I'm ready to pour them into the bowls and serve.
So here's the finished lemon chicken noodle soup. Enjoy!